Thanks for tuning in. And the final half hour of the show, we're talking with not a stranger to our community by any means, but the new head football coach and athletic director at B.B. Comer, Coach Adam Fossett, and of course Randy Caine, who's part of the B.B. Comer Alumni Association. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you being here this morning.
Good morning, Jimmy. Before you get started here, I wanted to bring the teacher a little gift.
Don't put your hands on that, Coach.
Oatmeal raisin cookie.
Oh, wow.
I didn't make them.
Okay, all right. So they're rightly edible, right? All right, we'll share those after the show. Well, anyway. Coach, thanks for being here this morning. And Randy, formally introduce Coach Fossett again to the community and tell us where we are about some of the fundraisers with the Alumni Association.
Well, actually, I just met Coach this past, 2 weeks ago.
Well, let me introduce him then. I'm more than you do.
I met him about 2 weeks ago, and then we had a little alumni coach session this past week to kind of get us all up to speed with who's who.
And so we've got some big fundraisers we're going to be talking about, and it takes money to float the boat, that's for sure.
Yes, it does, and thank you, Jimmy Dale, for bringing that up. Our 4th annual B.B. Comer Alumni Golf Tournament, May the 19th at Sylacauga Country Club, and you all know Booker Barbecue. They're known as Booker of Sylacauga Country Club now. They'll be serving lunch. So this is another opportunity to help us with our B.B. Comer and our Sylacauga High School Scholarship Program. And we help both schools because we've had both Sylacauga Aggie family and B.B. Comer Tiger family support us. So we want to give back to both. And we've also been down to both schools. I've met with both student counselors, Lena Emanuel and Christy Martin at Sylacauga. And they have the student applications for scholarships this coming year, and we'll be meeting with them.
So how many scholarships are we offering this year?
Well, last year we gave away $4,000. Where this year we'd love to give away 6. We'd love to give away 6, and so that's our hope.
All right, fantastic. Coach Fossett, as I mentioned at the top, you're no stranger to Talladega County, former coach at Warrenboro, former coach at Childersburg, and welcome back to Talladega County.
Thank you. We're glad to be back. It was we were gone for 2 years, and things occurred and took place, and we decided we wanted to come back home. So
you were at Smith Station, what, 2 years?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at Smith Station for 2 years. 7A football, 1,500 plus kids, 10th through 12th grade. So it was a massive school, a lot of kids there, a lot of moving parts. So almost like being a CEO instead of a football coach.
Well, you come back to Talladega County and you take over a job at B.B. Comer as head coach and athletic director of B.B. Comer football has been struggling the last few years.
Yes, sir. It's even prior to when I was in the county, it had its ups and downs. The key, I think, is that the kids are there. The athletes are there. The players are there. It's learning those kids and learning what makes them tick. So I've been on the job for 3 weeks now. We've been working out. We've been lifting and running and getting ready, and that's where it starts, is in the weight room. So right now it's just getting to know each other. It's learning the names, learning for them to trust me. You know, some of them look surprised when they see me walking in the halls or see me at lunch or things like that. So this past week, going around talking to each kid about grades. Here's where you are. This class is this. You've got to be eligible. Grades are important. So, it's a the big picture, the big spectrum of things. But the kids are doing good. They're buying in, and we're averaging about, between last period weights and after school workouts, we're averaging about 50 kids.
Now, B.B. Comer on the smaller end of 3A football as far as numbers in school are concerned. And speaking of numbers, the numbers have been really down at B.B. Comer. And to be honest with you, Coach, and being a graduate of B.B. Comer, we've heard some of the same thing. And not speaking about any other coach or anybody else who'd been there, What do you think makes this different as to being able to get the numbers up, which is a must?
Yeah, the numbers have to be there, obviously. And I think the key is a communication factor with the kids. One thing that I told them coming in is, especially kids that have played years ago and didn't play and then want to play again, that's why spring football is there. Mm-hmm. Come out for spring football, you got 10 practices, and give it a shot. If after 10 practices it's not for you, come shake my hand, turn your stuff in, and you gave it a shot. So that's the key leading up to May when we start spring is recruiting those kids. Mm-hmm. And you have to be a recruiter. You have to, not illegal recruiting, but in your hallways, you've got to recruit those kids and you've got to get them to come out. So, and the big thing, whether we're talking about Comer football or Comer softball or baseball or any other sport, the key element in telling those kids is you're just as deserving as the school on Main Street. Mm-hmm. You're just as deserving as the school down the road, the school down 280, wherever it is. So, but you've got to put in the work for that. We'll get you out there. We'll come and talk up the school on shows. We'll get them in the media and things like that, and get them exposed. But we've got just as good a kid, just as good athletes as all the surrounding schools. So the key is to, like I talked to the Alumni Association about, is we've got to rebrand Comer. One of the hashtags, which I hate hashtags, but everybody uses them. One of the hashtags that I'm starting to use is restore the roar. So we got to restore what it was. We've got to kind of build on that and continue building. And I've told the guys working out now, it's not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. And you look at the schedule, you look at whatever else. People have asked, well, the schedule's tough. I just came from 7A football where we had to play Central Phoenix City, Auburn, Prattville, Enterprise, Leah Montgomery, and Jeff Davis. This is a tough schedule, but we'll be okay.
Coach Adam Fossett, head football coach and athletic director at BB Comer, just began, you hired in February, is that right? Or when was it?
End of February.
Okay. Yes. And been on the job there a couple of 3 weeks and getting ready for spring training. We'll get to that in a couple of moments. But Randy, if that's while they turn that phone off, tell them you'll get it back with you.
Sorry about that. I thought it was
what about the upgrades with BB Comer Athletics as far as the process is concerned about whether it's painting or whatever it may be? What are we trying to get done there right now?
Well,
and you Coach Fossett can jump in on that to be fine, but the golf tournament is one of the tools we're using to help raise funds.
Yep, actually, we started about 5 years ago. We organized ourselves 5 years ago for a Sylacauga-Comer ball game in front of the stadium. Mm-hmm. And after that, we thought, well, why don't we, old timers, not heads that people don't think we can get a whole lot done. We got ourselves organized. We selected officers. We got an attorney to draw up the papers for us to be 501c nonprofit. And so from then on, Biddy Burton, Diane Bearden, Mike Sawyer, Lester Bryant, Bonnie, a number of us said, okay, let's put some things together and we can give back. So the first golf tournament we put on 3 or 4 years ago we made $8,000. And then we gave it to the athletic department. And a group of us went over and helped Coach Battles at that time, build all those lockers, clean that place up and paint it and get it all back up to speed. And from then we've given to the baseball program to buy some uniforms. We've given to a number of things that Coach needed during the season that just during the normal stuff they got to have. And then I think the recent thing is we bought some the pants for the football team. So a number of things. Then we started talking about scholarships to give back to students that really need help, and working with both school counselors to help us, because we don't know all the kids. Mm-hmm. They fill out the forms and all that, but we need to know the need of those kids, where they really want to go in life. So we just started giving all that money back. And we don't take any of that money. We don't use it. We don't get paid. We don't do any of that. We just love doing this kind of stuff. We've had concerts. Troy Jones put on a concert for us a few years ago, and it was a packed house over at Harvey's. Tommy Brown has played for us. Tommy Brown and David Harris's band has played for us. Mike Shell brought his old pros from the old days back down at the country club last year. Had a good turnout. And so all that money that we do take in, and then we sit down as a group, and then we look for the needs. What are the needs down there?
And what are some of those needs, Coach Fossett?
Right now the needs are a lot of labor more so than anything.
I'm out for that one.
We just rearranged the weight room this week, moved some stuff around, gave it a new look. The kids asked if there was new equipment in there, and all we did was move stuff around, wipe down some walls, swept some floors, and things like that. But some upgrade things as far as painting in the field house. We've got to get a wall sealed because water's coming into the weight room. We've got to get some new lighting and things like that. So, and I'm working with Mr. Warlick, our principal, and working with the county to see what kind of help they can do to help us out with that. The facilities, it's tough when you have to spread money through so many schools.
Sure.
But it's also a situation where we've got to focus on that because one, as far as a safety feature for the kids, and two, whether people want to admit it or not, and some people just don't want to admit it, kids perform better and play better when they have nicer things. And the key is, and what I've told them, I said, if you can't take care of this, I'm not going to go fight for you better stuff. So, like you see now, kids are maintaining their locker area and they're cleaning up, or they're when they're walking through, they pick up a piece of trash that's on the floor or something like that. So, earlier you asked about the difference, and people have said the same things. I think one of the big things that we have to do, and one of the big things that I'm charged with, is we've got to change the culture. And by changing the culture, it changes the whole mindset and mentality.
Talk just a little bit right there about changing the culture. What do you mean by that?
Well, you have to change the mentality. You have to change the how the kids perceive themselves, how they perceive competition, how their confidence level, their the very first day that the kids come to me for weight training for the last period of the day, all of them walked in, they looked sad, their heads were down, and I'm like, so I got them in there and I said, look, if I were you, I'd be running to the weight room. I said, not only do you get a grade for it, but you don't have to sit down, you're active, you get a grade to get better in sports, and all of you play at least one sport. I said, this is a great opportunity. So, it starts with little things like that. So, and you change, when you start changing the outlook of the kids, we're going to have a parent meeting before school's out. We've got to talk to the parents about the same thing, changing the culture of their mentalities and things like that. So, and it's not an overhaul, but like summer workouts, okay? All of our athletes have got to be there over the summer to work out. If you want to get better, every school in Alabama is working out during the summer. So we've got to have summer workouts. We've got to come in there and sweat and lift and run, and we're talking male athletes, female athletes, everybody involved with BB Comer Athletics. We got to get in there and work out. We've got to lift and run. So we've got to communicate that to the parents and let them know. We got to communicate that to the kids and let them know. The kids have to support each other. So I've been to baseball games and softball games, and if the other's not playing, the other ones are there. So if softball's not playing and baseball's playing at home, those girls are there. So there's a good supporting network there. Baseball guys will go to softball games if they're not playing at the same time. So there's a good support there. We've talked about, building the student section up, and it's just building the pride up and building it up and building it kind of one brick at a time. And the challenges are very similar to other challenges that I've faced in the county previously being here. So, and the type of kids that we have, understanding them and understanding, their needs is huge.
when Bruce Pearl was at Tennessee, and he's done some of the same things at Auburn to get that spirit up, to sell those kids, and not just the kids, but the parents.
And you've led right into, because we've talked about this, the culture. When the first 2 years that the alumni was together, we had over 300 people show up for that first event. They came from South Carolina, Florida. They drove in, and we had a number of people. So over I'd say the last year or so, from our alumni and those that have been out of school for a number of years, when we have people from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Florida that went to B.B. Comer comes back, and we have people. Now I'm gonna probably touch a nerve here. But when we have people that live within 5 or 10 miles of our event that went to B.B. Comer and we've not seen them participate in anything, I've had to be real careful about how I've handled that because I see them every day, or I see them in the grocery store somewhere, and they may ask about something, but there are people out there, and I'll just look straight in the camera and say, there's people at B.B. Comer that grew up with us all. We all got out together. But we would love to see you participate and come out and help us. We're not asking you to be at every event and do everything and give a bunch of money. We would just love to get you to help us. Well, we've talked about winning changes everything. Exactly. We know that. It does. Yes. Winning changes everything. But he's the coach. We're not the coach. So we got to support the group over here in the school, from the scholarships all the way to athletics. But we need the alumni support. Also, I'd like to throw out while I got the floor, we're looking for the younger generation to get involved with what we've established here. We have a solid foundation from the events we've put on, how we've done it. We've learned some things the hard way. We've lost some money in some events we didn't handle very well, but we've done pretty well overall, the big picture. So, and we're looking for some of the younger folks that's graduated from B.B. Comer in the last few years to get involved, because, you know, I'm no spring chicken, and Biddy and Mike and Lester, you know, we're getting on up there.
Don't look at me.
So we're looking for some of the younger folks that would really love to carry on the B.B. Comer alumni legacy. We've got the foundation set for you. All you got to do is come and help us and support us and do some of the things that Coach is trying to talk about. You know, it's a different world than when Jimmy Dale, when you and I was in high school. All we had to do, you know, I remember when Coach Brooks got us new uniforms, and we got a brand new pair of socks. Wow, man, I thought I was on the Yankees. Really. Yeah. And so we know we live in a new world, but we need the B.B. Comer alumni, especially right here in our community, to come out and help us support. And I'll throw it out at you. You may not be a golfer, but you can come out, some of you I know are, you can come out and support us on this. And we're also planning some other concerts and things coming up this year. We're just asking you to get out of the house and come on down and support us.
All right, as Randy, who's a part of the Alumni Association, adjusts his glasses, or will be rubbing against his mic so quickly, we'll kick it back to Coach Fossett. August 31st, you talk about timely.
Yes.
Former coach at Winterboro, honoring Coach Ty Cobb, and what a legend he was at B.B. Comer.
Yes. Coach Cobb, I had the opportunity to meet him and get to know him when I was here in the county before, and great guy. I obviously didn't get to know him like some of you guys did, but great guy. I know he meant a lot to the B.B. Comer family. And he played at Winterboro.
Yeah.
He'd always tell me, I was a quarterback at Winterboro. I don't look like it now, but I was, you know. So, but a great opportunity to do that. So we want to recognize him. We'll have some, as we get closer, we'll have some special events set up. Probably going to invite his family down, try and have them come out for the coin toss before the game, maybe have a little tailgate area.
Now, this is a regular season game,
yes,
right?
Yeah, it's a regular season game.
Okay.
So, yeah, we wanted to start off the season by honoring him, and our schedule is set, and every home game we do something. And I did pick this up. I started doing this at Winterboro 12 years ago, and did it through Childersburg and things like that. But you know, we'll do that on August 31st with the recognition of him. On September 14th, we play Glencoe at home. We'll do parent appreciation. And it's the same setup. You get the parents there and get them involved. We'll set up some tents outside the field house area and have little finger foods and things like that. They can watch us warm up. we'll come in for pregame. I'll invite the parents in. We'll do our pregame talk with the parents, our prayer, and then we'll dismiss the parents and go play ball. But it's an opportunity to bring everybody together. It's an opportunity to get those parents in and see this is what your kids do, and this is what these coaches do for these kids. So we go on down to September 28th against Talladega County Central, teacher appreciation. Part of changing the culture is getting the teachers to be involved and getting those teachers to come out and support the athletics and come out to the events that we have.
Let me just inject this due to time constraints here this morning. One of the big questions, and both of you guys are aware of this, one of the big questions is, are we going to put Childersburg and Sylacauga, we're going to try to work to get them back on the schedule in the future. That's a big gate. And I understand what Coach Battle was talking about. B.B. Comer took some beat downs from both those schools down through the years. Is that possible to...
Well, I think we're in a good situation because we have 2 years to see where we end up. In 2 years, if my grand plan is going well, that will be a possibility. I understand the gate part of it and the financial part of it. I understand the tradition part of it and that importance. But I've got to do what's best for my kids. I've got to do what's best for our program. So I can't sit here and give you a definite yes or no. I can tell you that it wouldn't bother me to have both of them on the schedule. I think it's a great challenge to be able to play a team higher classification than you. But we've got to make some. We've got to take care of us right now before I start worrying about adding those
spring practice.
We'll start first full week of May.
Okay.
Not going to do a spring game this year. Again, we're going to take care of us, worry about us. And continue to build the relationship that we have. Spring will lead into summer, and then over the summer we'll do some 7-on-7s and obviously have workouts and things like that. So I have a few team building things planned over the summer that we'll try and do. The sky's the limit, and the one thing is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, we got to do something different. Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Coach Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at B.B. Comer, is our guest this morning, along with Randy Caine, a part of the B.B. Comer Alumni Association. And Randy, to be fair with Coach Battles, he inherited a very difficult situation when he arrived at B.B. Comer. And we sat through, doing some of their games on television. It was painful just to, and you applaud those kids and coaching staff for sticking it out, but you cannot win football games with 13 to 14 players.
You can't, and I'll say this again, you hear it on the streets, what was going on and so forth. Nick Saban couldn't take 21 players and do a whole lot. You've got to have participation and support throughout it all. But I will go on record as saying I've known Mike Battles since I was in the 8th grade when I went to Sylacauga High School. And Mike Battles has probably forgotten more about high school football than I'll ever know. Mike Battles could probably coach a football team by himself. And it's unfortunate that it went that way. But we're glad to have Coach here on board and going to do what he's going to do, and the alumni, and we're going to support him 100%. And we just need participation from the parents, the old alumni, the latest few years, like we just got through saying a moment ago. We just need to come out, and change the culture, and help coach in what he's doing in his plan. People's come up to us and said, "Hey, Randy, you need to go up to the Board of Education and talk to them about this." No, I'm not doing that. You need to go over to school and talk to them about this. No, I'm not doing that either. We do not get involved in what the school administration is doing, how they run the schools, how they run the county. We don't do that. What we're going to do is we're going to do our events. We're going to raise money. We're going to support the children and the kids for scholarships and whatever the athletic department needs. So don't ask us to go talk to the principals. We're not. That's their job to run that.
And Coach, these are student athletes. They're not just athletes.
That's right. Yeah, excuse me. They're student athletes. You know, I discuss grades all the time. We discuss ACT scores. You know, part of coaching is, and in order for coaching to be successful and family to be successful, I believe you have to have a good relationship with both. Like your family has to have a good relationship with the kids and things like that. So my wife, who is a BB Comer alum, she's also a teacher, and she helps me do ACT prep with the kids. She'll do practice tests with them. We'll set up a classroom over the summer and do an ACT blitz before the June ACT test and things like that. Because it's kind of like I talked to two freshmen the other day. I said, look, you've got this report card. I've got 3 things highlighted. I said, the more I have highlighted on here, the worse it is. I said, you're athletic, you're freshman. I said, I'm not guaranteeing you a scholarship, but I'm telling you, if you handle this and you work out and do what you're supposed to do, I'll do everything I can to get you exposed. But you have to handle this. Yeah. I can help you. If you need tutoring, I can help you. If this is missing assignments, that's on you. You got to get that done. So it kind of opens their eyes, and you have to you just have to reach out to those people and to the kids and show them those things. So now, as far as the alumni goes, and doing things like that, I've had, because I know some alum just through my wife and things like that. I've already gotten messages and things like that. I'm glad to have you back. Glad, you know, it's great for our school, and we're pumped up about it and things like that. So. You know, kind of like he's talking about getting those people involved. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be. We're not asking you to open your wallet. It's a simple thing. It can be as simple as defending the program in the public. You know, you may work with a lot of people from a different school and catch it all the time. Well, you know, step up and say, hey, we got good kids too. And as far as golf goes, you may not be a golfer, but I bet you know a golfer. And I bet you know a golfer that likes money. And you got a chance to play golf, eat food, and win money. Those are on a Saturday morning. Right. That's pretty good.
How can people become re-involved with the BB Comer Alumni Association?
Well, BD has all the forms for the Alumni Association if you'd like to actually join it. And then, of course, our on Norton, where Hair Raisers is located, that's our usually place we go to.
The headquarters there?
That's the headquarters. Biddy and Diane Tubba's shop, that's our headquarters, where we meet several times a week when I'm home. And the other guy, I just met Lester and Mike and everybody down there yesterday.
Is that still the no spin zone?
That's the no spin zone. What happens in Biddy's shop stays in Biddy's shop. But she has the forms for the golf tournament. She'll have all the posters. She'll have the applications. All the paperwork and stuff will be centrally located there. So we kind of keep it right in the middle of town, and just go in and say, hey, Biddy, I heard RC on TV say.
Thank you guys for joining us, and Coach, we'll be back in touch again. We'll do some more sits down as well as we get closer to the presentations of the Alumni Association for Scholarships for both BB Comer and Sylacauga High School.